Welcome to Nurse Burnout Solutions, the show that empowers you to beat stress, reclaim your energy, and discover lasting fulfillment in your nursing career. I'm your host, Betty McLean. I'm a nurse with over 20 years of experience, and I'm also a certified life and certified burnout coach. I'm here to share expert insights with you, a lot of practical tools, and some inspiring stories. So join me as we navigate the challenges of a career in healthcare, and I help you find renewed purpose and resiliency, one episode at a time. Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about work-life balance. Work-life balance is sort of this holy grail of adulthood where we strive for this pie in the sky kind of situation where stress is non-existent because work is managed well and our home life and our personal life is managed well and everything is in balance. I think that this is not a great goal to try to achieve in the way that it's put forward with most personal development and professional development teachers. When we talk about work-life balance, often what examples or what imagery is used is this idea of juggling, multiple balls in the air, or this kind of trying to balance on a balance beam or a teeter-totter situation where we're trying to keep work up and our personal life up, but not too far, because if we are too happy at home, then work is going to suck. And if we're too happy at work, then home is going to suck. And it's this idea that we have to find this equilibrium. I don't find this especially helpful for me or for my clients, because when balance is at the cost of the other thing, then it's a no-win situation. So I would love to give you a different analogy, a different imagery to consider when you're thinking about balancing your life. I like to sing karaoke. And so when I set up my karaoke system at home, I have this little mixing board, and it's got a spot for four little microphones, and each microphone has a spot where you can adjust the treble up and down, you can adjust the midtones, you can adjust the bass, and you can also adjust the reverberation, kind of the room setting. That is just a tiny little miniature mixing board, which is what sound technicians use when they are helping a recording artist or a musician record a song, right? So I would love for you to think about the mixing board like your life. And you are the sound technician. And the music professional, the artist or whatever, is your goal. That is the ideal life for you. And it's going to be different for everybody, right? Not everybody listens to the same artists. Not everybody listens to the same songs. So you have to understand, what does your ideal life look like? So when you have that in your mind, though, you can then stand in front of your mixing board and you can say, okay, the next 3 days, I'm going to be working 3 12-hour shifts. So I'm going to adjust the dials in my life so that I'm taking really good care of myself, so that I show up at work well rested, with everything I need to fuel my body, right? I meal prep the day before. I adjust and I tweak to make sure that I'm showing up to work the way I need to. Similarly, if you have a family member who is graduating high school, and you know that there's going to be parties and ceremonies and things that are going to be happening, think about how you want to dial up your energy Do you want to take some time to go shopping to make sure you get them the perfect graduation gift? Do you want to, are you arranging the party? And so you need to make sure that you adjust and dial your energy levels so that you're a little more extroverted and, all the things. That is a much more useful way to think about balance for me. You're not balancing like on a teeter-totter, you're balancing your life because every song is going to sound different depending on how much balance, how the sound technician works it. Just like every party that you go to, every shift at work, every nighttime, how well you sleep at night, there are factors that play into how we show up to everything in our life. And if you can get really intentional with how you show up and how take care of yourself so that you have the energy to show up when you need to, those events in your life will be more enjoyable. If you make sure that you're dialing in your sleep on your work shifts, on the nights in between your work, if you are making sure that you are, eating enough protein and drinking enough water and in the right mindset to show up to a family gathering or a celebration with the right mindset, and then also planning, okay, and then how am I going to take care of myself afterwards if you're an introvert, right? Like, am I going to schedule downtime, right? It's all up to you. This is your life that you're creating, and you have the ability to do that. Finding that balance is not magical. It's not something that just happens after you listen to the right podcast or read the correct book. Finding the right balance is an intentional act that you can do every single day to create the life that you want to live. Now, if that sounds overwhelming, go back to the basics. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you staying hydrated? Are you fueling your body in a way that feels good, right? Enough protein, enough fiber, not too much of the things that make you feel bloated or irritable or that your liver has to work overtime on. Alcohol, I'm talking about you. Are you taking good care of yourself? Are you moving, right? Are you physically going for walks and lifting weights and doing the things? And do you have people in your life who support you? Because taking care of your body, getting enough sleep, and making sure you have a couple people in your life who support you, those things will help you achieve balance much more easily. Now, balance is going to change depending on the season of life. Summer balance is going to look different than winter balance. Just like if a mezzo soprano gets behind the sound into the sound box and starts recording a song, the balance is going to look different than if some, you know, famous rapper gets in the sound box. You're going to be adjusting things, right? Seasons change, your body changes, your families change. So you will have to change the balance, change what you're doing in a responsive way to life. And the cool thing is, if you take this approach, this idea that it's okay to tweak and play as long as we're trying to create that life that we want, it kind of takes some of the pressure off. You don't have to keep all the balls up in the air. You don't have to be an expert juggler. You don't have to walk this balance beam, making sure you're holding everything just right. Today, we're going to try something different. We're going to drink more water. Okay. Let's adjust that dial. That worked really well. Let's try a sound machine when we're sleeping because we're not sleeping real good. Let me go Google a few things to try to sleep better. I actually have resources for that. So if sleep is a problem for you, message me. Let's talk. So I would encourage you to get rid of this idea that work-life balance is an achievable goal and instead work on balancing your life on a day-to-day basis. Now, when I say you're going to be trying to achieve your ideal life, I think uh, one of the tricky things that can happen is we create in our brain this ideal life, which is great. It's important to know kind of what we want in our life, but I would encourage you not to put too much stock or too much thought on in that future life. What I mean is, don't constantly be thinking, oh, today didn't live up to that future ideal life. I didn't sleep as much as I would in my ideal life. I did enjoy drinks with my friends, and in my ideal life, I would never drink alcohol. The ideal life is just there to help you understand if something's working or not. That's all. I think the more helpful goal is trying to stay present wherever you are. This is the other like secret, the the golden ticket to this concept of balance in your life. The more present you can be in this moment, the better it will feel. We need to think about the past sometimes because that's how we learn, right? So think about yesterday. What worked? What didn't work? What do you want to do differently? That's my favorite way to evaluate what worked, what did not work, and what do I want to do differently? Okay. It's important to think about the past, to reminisce and to think about our, things that we've enjoyed, right? Thinking about the past is not a problem. When it becomes a problem is when we use the past to beat up on ourselves. That is when thinking about the past becomes unhelpful. Similarly, it is not especially helpful to think about the future from a place of worry, right? So we want to think about the future in terms of, okay, tomorrow I've got, a party to go to, so I want to make sure I sleep well. I also want to get up and make sure I go for a walk because I'm not going to have time later in the day to take care of my exercise. Right. So that's thinking about the future in a productive way. Right. Similarly, we can anticipate something fun in the future. I'm going to go camping. I'm really excited for this camping trip that I'm going to go to. It's going to be a lot of fun. I get to be in nature. Oh, it's going to be great. What is not helpful when we're thinking about the future is worrying. Oh, I've got a party to go to. What if somebody offers me a piece of cake? I told myself I wasn't going to eat any sugar this week. So, oh my gosh, they're going to offer me cake. And I love cake. I'm probably going to eat it. Oh, I'm so terrible. Oh my gosh, right? Okay. Not helpful. Not, not helpful to a sense of well-being. Now, are you going to do that using the past to beat yourself up, worrying about the future? Yes. You are going to do that to some extent because you have a human brain. That is what humans do. We're great at worrying about the past and worrying about the future. But if you want to feel more balanced in your life, please, 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 when you notice your brain worrying or beating yourself up about the past, gently remind yourself that you do not live in the past and you are not yet in the future, and your brain needs to calm down. Just tell it, I love you, brain, but we're not in the past and we're not in the future. We're here, we're now. What are we going to do right now? When you are at work and your brain wants to take you to, oh my gosh, when I get home, I've got laundry to do and I've got all these things and it's terrible. Not from a place of like, okay, planning is different, right? But from a place of worry. That's when you need to remind your brain, we're not doing that right now. Right now, we're at work. I'm charting, I'm passing meds, I'm taking care of my patients, I'm taking care of my coworkers, I'm making sure that I take a break and go for a walk, right? Just you're the adult. You get to remind your brain to do what you need it to do because your brain is just offering you thoughts. It's not a big deal. You just need to guide it sometimes. Same thing, if you get home and your brain wants to think about what a terrible shift you had, and it wants to remind you of all the things that could have potentially been horrible, and you almost missed that med, and maybe you did make a med error. How could you? You're the most terrible nurse on the planet. How could you give the wrong med? And think about all the consequences that could have happened. Oh my gosh. When your brain starts doing that, take a deep breath, give yourself a mental hug, and tell your brain to stop it. You are home, you are present, and you're going to rest now. Now, that's not I would love it if we could just snap our fingers and get our brain to stop. That would be lovely. It takes a lot of practice. And for some of us, it requires a coach or a therapist to really help us learn how to manage our mind. It is totally 100% possible for you, for everyone, to learn to manage their thoughts in a productive way, to stay present in the moment. But sometimes it takes more than listening to a podcast or reading a book. Although I will say, listening to podcasts and reading a book, wonderful. You should definitely do that. But if you are struggling with managing your thoughts, not staying present in the moment, feeling like you are not achieving balance, right? You potentially could just benefit from getting a life coach or a therapist in your corner. I love working with people who are trying to learn how to manage their brain. It's fascinating to me, and my clients get really good results. So, if that is you and you think that life coaching might be beneficial, email me, Betty at aimforgreatnesscoaching.com. Tell me you're interested in a free consult. We will schedule some time and we will talk about what your brain does to you and whether coaching is the right avenue. For some people, it's going to be the right avenue. For other people, I'm going to recommend you see a therapist. But let's talk. I hope you have found this helpful. Again, it's not about juggling or walking a tightrope. It's about being present in the moment and adjusting the little things, the little dials, the little knobs to get you to a place where you want to be. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for listening today to Nurse Burnout Solutions. Remember, I really believe that all stress is manageable and burnout is not inevitable. If you are struggling with stress or in burnout, I can help. Check out the show notes for ways that we can connect and get you the support that you deserve.